Listen carefully, because the next 90 minutes can change the direction of your entire life. This is not about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about mental strength, the kind that doesn't break, doesn't panic, and doesn't quit. A warrior mind is trained. It's forged through focus, discipline, and pain. The world is loud, but a warrior stays locked in. Emotions try to control you, but a warrior controls them instead. Distractions chase your attention, but a warrior refuses to lose sight of the mission. Today, you begin the transformation. Today, you train your mind like a warrior, because the strongest weapon you will ever carry is your mind. Chapter 1 Motivation is not coming to save you. Read that again. You've been taught to wait for a feeling, to wait for a spark, to wait for the perfect moment. But warriors don't wait. Warriors act. Warriors move. Warriors execute. The hard truth: you don't need motivation. You need responsibility. You need discipline. You need standards that you do not negotiate with. Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is a resident. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is your identity. Most people live their life chasing motivation like a drug. A small hit of inspiration. A short burst of excitement. And then, nothing. Right back to procrastination. Right back to comfort. Right back to the same weak habits that built the same weak life. That's the trap. That's why people don't grow. Not because they can't, but because they wait to feel ready. You have to stop worshiping motivation. Motivation is not the source of greatness. Consistency is. Commitment is. Doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, is. That's the key. You want a new life? Then you need a new standard. Say it. I don't skip the work. I show up no matter what. I am responsible for the results I want. You have a choice. Every day you wake up. A choice to rise, or a choice to remain. A choice to move, or a choice to complain. A choice to build, or a choice to make excuses. Stop acting like you're powerless. Stop pretending like you need permission. Stop believing you're stuck because your feelings don't agree with your goals. You don't need permission. You need command over your own life. Look at any elite performer. A soldier. A champion athlete. An entrepreneur who built something from nothing. Do you think they wait until they feel like working? They work, and the feeling follows. Action creates motivation. Movement generates momentum. That first step, even when you don't want to take it, changes everything. You are training your mind like a warrior. A warrior doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" A warrior asks, "What must be done?" Then they do it. No questions. No drama. No excuses. That's how you change your life. Brick by brick. Choice by choice. Action by action. You know what destroys more dreams than failure? Comfort. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Comfort whispers, "Take it easy. Skip today. You can do it later." Later becomes never. One skipped day becomes a skipped week. One compromise becomes a habit. That habit becomes your identity. Comfort kills potential. Comfort makes people weak. Comfort convinces you that you have time. But time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't wait for your confidence to show up. You either use it or lose it. The hardest part is starting. The first 10 minutes of the gym. The first page of the book. The first morning you wake up early. But once you start, you become unstoppable. Because action breeds confidence. Confidence breeds consistency. Consistency breeds results. And results feed your mind with proof. You are capable. You are strong. You are in control. This is the cycle of discipline. This is the machine that builds warriors. But only if you reject the mindset that says, "I'll wait until I feel like it." That mindset is a cage. A prison. A life sentence of almost achieving, nearly succeeding, but never finishing. You must break out. You must rewire the narrative. Instead of, "I need motivation," say, "I need to do the work." Instead of, "I don't feel ready," say, "I start anyway." Instead of, "I'm tired," say, "I do it tired." Instead of, "I'll try," say, "I will." Language matters. Words are commands to the brain. Change the command, change the result. You don't rise to your motivation. You fall to your standards. So raise your standards. Set rules for yourself that are not optional. You show up. You execute. You finish. Single. There will be days when your mind resists. Days when everything feels heavy. Days when progress feels invisible. But that is where warriors are built. In the boring. In the routine. In the unseen work nobody celebrates. Because discipline is forged in the dark. And results are revealed in the light. You have a mission. A purpose. A life to build. Do not hand over that future because a feeling disagrees with you. Do not allow emotions to sabotage progress. Do not surrender your destiny to laziness. You are stronger than your mood. You are greater than your excuses. You are capable of action without permission. Say it again. You have a choice. Stop explaining why you can't. Start proving that you can. The world doesn't care about excuses. The world sees results. Be the person who delivers them. This is the shift. The moment you separate from the crowd. The moment you decide, I will never need to feel like it to do it. That is the warrior mindset. That is mental strength. That is the foundation of greatness. And you just laid your first brick. Take this with you. When motivation disappears, and it always does, discipline steps in. Discipline does the work. Discipline builds the life. Discipline creates the warrior. Now you understand the truth. Motivation is a tool. Discipline is your weapon. Wield it. You have taken control. You have claimed responsibility. You have eliminated excuses. And now, you are ready for the next step. You've stopped waiting. You've started acting. You've taken command. Now, you must learn how to control your reactions and protect your power. Chapter 2. Master the art of not reacting. Control is power. And the moment you react, you give that power away. This is where most people lose the war inside their mind. Not because they are weak. Not because they lack potential. But because they react to everything and everyone around them. Someone disrespects them? They explode. Someone disagrees? They defend. Someone ignores them? They chase. Every reaction becomes a chain. A leash. Proof that the world can pull your strings anytime it wants. A warrior does not react. A warrior responds. A response is strategic. A reaction is emotional. You must learn the difference. You must choose the difference. Because you have a choice. Every moment. Your emotions are not the problem. Your obedience to them is. The goal is not to feel nothing. The goal is to not let feelings dictate your decisions. When anger rises, you pause. When fear whispers, you stand taller. When insecurity screams, you stay locked into purpose. Because here's the truth. The loudest emotion is usually the dumbest advisor. You must lead your mind. You must command your state. That's the key. Let's be clear. People will test you. Life will test you. Your mind will test you. Not reacting is not weakness. Not reacting is strength. Weakness is letting someone else decide how you feel. Strength is choosing your response no matter what they do. Every emotional outburst costs you energy, dignity, focus, power. Do not spend your power cheaply. Think of a warrior in battle. Does he panic every time an arrow flies? Does he complain every time there is pain? Does he freeze every time he gets knocked down? He stays calm under chaos. He stays focused under fire. He stays intentional under pressure. You want power? Become unshakable. This is your new rule. Never let anyone see you lose control. You might feel the storm inside. But outside? You remain the calm. You remain the commander. You remain the one who decides. That's what self-control looks like. That's what emotional mastery feels like. Here's a reality that should wake you up. People control you by controlling your reaction. They provoke. You react. They win. But when you don't react, they lose their weapon. They lose their leverage. They lose access to your power. Do not give them that access. Do not give them that privilege. Not everyone deserves a reaction from you. Not every disrespect deserves your energy. Not every insult deserves your attention. Sometimes silence is the greatest dominance. Sometimes distance is the greatest punishment. Sometimes composure is the greatest revenge. When you stay silent, they reveal themselves. When you stay calm, they expose their weakness. When you stay in control, they crumble. That is the art of the still mind, the art of the focused warrior, the art of not reacting. Here are your battlefield instructions. One breath can save you from one mistake that ruins your future. In that pause, you regain command. In that pause, you choose power over impulse. 2. Evaluate. Ask, does this deserve my energy? Most things don't. Most people don't. Protect your peace like a fortress. 3. Respond with purpose. If it doesn't move the mission forward, it's not worth doing. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to win your life. You don't need their permission to stay calm. You don't need their approval to stay disciplined. You don't need their validation to protect your energy. You have a mission. You have a destiny. You have work to do. Reactions destroy progress. Responses build it. If you let emotions drive your actions, you will live a life of regret. If you let discipline drive your actions, you will live a life of results. Which one do you want? Regret or results? You choose. This chapter is your awakening. Not reacting does not mean ignoring. It means choosing. Choosing to stay aligned with your purpose. Choosing to stay in control of your power. Choosing to act like the warrior you are becoming. There will be moments when your ego wants to fight. Moments when someone tries to embarrass you. Moments when impulse begs to take the wheel. Do not obey impulse. Do not bow to chaos. Do not surrender stability for temporary emotion. Remember this. The person who stays calm always has the advantage. Clear strategy. Controlled execution. That is how warriors win. That is how you will win. From now on, when life pushes, you don't panic. You plant your feet. You breathe. You assess. You respond. You rise. Every moment you stay calm, you sharpen your strength. Every moment you refuse to react, you build mental muscle. Every moment you choose discipline, you choose power. This is who you must become. Unreactive. Unbothered. Unstoppable. Because when you master your reactions, you master your mind. When you master your mind, you master your life. This is emotional control. This is the warrior's advantage. This is the next level of you. And now, with self-control tightening inside you like armor, it's time to reinforce the identity that will carry you forward. You've held your power. You've protected your peace. You've learned the strength of silence. Now let's build the foundation that keeps you going, even on the hardest days. Chapter 3. Discipline is your identity. Discipline is not something you do. Discipline is something you become. Most people think discipline is a task, a chore, an effort. But warriors know the truth. Discipline is identity. Identity drives action. Who you believe you are decides what you show up for. If you believe you are lazy, you will behave lazy. If you believe you are weak, you will choose weak decisions. If you believe you are undisciplined, you will find excuses instead of progress. Identity is the foundation of behavior. So if you want stronger behavior, you must build a stronger identity. Say this with certainty. I am disciplined. Not, I try. Not, I hope. Not, I'm working on it. No, I am disciplined. That's the key. This isn't about ego, it's about command. It's about deciding who you are before the world decides for you. You have a choice. Every morning you rise. Who do you choose to be? The person who quits? Or the person who follows through? The one who waits? Or the one who executes? The one who breaks down under pressure? Or the one who becomes pressure-proof? Your identity answers that question. Not your mood. Not your motivation. Identity. Listen carefully. Discipline is self-respect. Discipline is self-protection. Discipline is self-leadership. If you don't discipline yourself, the world will discipline you. Life will punish every lazy habit, every delay, every excuse. Hardship is the debt you pay when you avoid responsibility. You want freedom? Earn it. With discipline. You want confidence? Earn it. With discipline. You want pride when you look in the mirror? Earn it. With discipline, every action is a vote for the person you want to become. When you hit the alarm and choose the day, that's a vote. When you do the workout even when you're tired, that's a vote. When you sit down and work without distraction, that's a vote. Those votes build your identity. Over time, the identity becomes truth. And that truth becomes power. Because here's what most people never understand. Discipline is easier than regret. It is far easier to do the hard thing now than to live with the pain of what if forever. Your life is a reflection of the standards you accept. Low standards, low results. High standards, high results. Raise your standards. Raise your identity. Raise your life. Discipline is not emotional. Discipline does not care if you're tired. Discipline does not negotiate with excuses. Discipline is a decision followed by action. This must be your new identity. I don't break promises to myself. I don't skip the work that builds me. I don't quit when progress feels slow. Because discipline is not about performing when it looks heroic. It's about showing up when nobody sees. It's about staying focused when nobody claps. It's about committing when nobody cares. The quiet days build the loud success. Remember this. Your brain learns from what you repeatedly do. Not what you say you'll do someday. Not what you dream of. Action becomes memory. Memory becomes identity. Every time you follow through on your word, you prove something to yourself. I can trust me. That trust becomes confidence. That confidence becomes momentum. And momentum becomes a new version of you. When discipline becomes identity, effort becomes automatic. You no longer debate. You no longer negotiate. You execute. Because this is who you are. A warrior. A builder. A competitor. A finisher. You don't need their permission. You don't need their applause. You don't need their acknowledgement. You don't do the work for attention. You do the work for transformation. For growth. For the future you are building. That's why warriors win. Not because they were born different, but because they decided to be different. Look at the habits of someone who lost control of their life. They sleep late. They procrastinate. They say later to everything important. They live inside distraction. They obey every emotion. That is not a lifestyle. That is a surrender. Now look at the habits of a disciplined warrior. Early to rise. Structured hours. Purpose over pleasure. Strategy over reaction. Standards over feelings. That is a life of command. That is a life of pride. That is a life of self-mastery. Which one are you building? Which identity are you reinforcing? You have a choice. You're becoming someone new. Someone sharper. Someone dangerous. You're stepping into discipline as who you are, not what you occasionally perform. Say it again. I am disciplined. Not motivated. Disciplined. Because motivation comes and goes. Identity remains. And the world responds to how you identify. If you identify as unstoppable, obstacles become irrelevant. If you identify as focused, distractions lose their power. If you identify as disciplined, every day becomes progress. This chapter is the turning point. From now on, you do not ask, how do I force discipline? You declare, I am discipline. You take the identity first. You perform the actions next. And those actions reinforce the identity again. This is the loop of transformation. You are becoming the type of person who does hard things. Not sometimes. Every time. If the task matters, you do it. If the goal matters, you chase it. If the dream matters, you sacrifice for it. Now you are no longer hoping for change. You are embodying it. You have taken control. You have built a new standard. You have claimed the identity of a warrior. And a warrior protects the thing that shapes identity most. Because time is the currency of achievement. Time is the battlefield where discipline wins. Time is the resource you must guard at any cost. You have built the identity. Now you must protect it with your schedule. You know who you are. Now let's protect your time. Chapter 4. Eliminate distractions ruthlessly. You are surrounded. Not by enemies. Not by obstacles. But by distractions. They are everywhere. In your pocket. On your desk. In your mind. Every ping steals a second. Every notification steals a thought. Every distraction steals the life you're meant to live. You want discipline? Start here. Start with what you allow into your attention. Attention is the most valuable currency of your life. Not money, not time, attention. Because wherever your attention goes, your life follows. That's the key. Distraction is the silent killer of ambition. It doesn't yell. It whispers. Check this. Watch that. It'll only take a minute. But that minute becomes an hour. That hour becomes a day. That day becomes a wasted life. You have a choice. Right now. To protect your focus like a warrior guards his gate. Or let anyone, anything, walk in and hijack your mind. You don't need their permission to focus. You need discipline. Let's be brutally honest. The reason most people fail is not because they are incapable. It's because they are distracted. They say they don't have time. But they have time to scroll. They have time to gossip. They have time to refresh feeds 100 times a day. It's not a time problem. It's a discipline problem. So here's your wake-up call. If you want a powerful life, you must become violent about eliminating distractions. Not gentle. Not polite. Ruthless. Because distractions are not harmless. They are thieves. They rob potential. They rob courage. They rob the life you could be building. You have to decide. Are you going to be a producer or a consumer? Producers create. Consumers consume. Producers build the future. Consumers get trapped in it. You have a choice. When you wake up in the morning, the battle begins immediately. Will you start your day in silence and strength? Or will you start it drowning in the noise of the world? The strongest people you admire, they do not waste attention. They allocate it. With intention. With precision. It's not about having better opportunities. It's about having fewer distractions. If your phone controls you, you are not free. If your impulses control you, you are not disciplined. If every little thing steals your focus, you are not serious about your goals. This chapter is about taking your mind back. Step 1. Identify your top distractions. You can't fight an enemy you refuse to name. List your top 3 distractions right now. Not tomorrow. Who or what pulls you away from your mission? Is it social media? Is it unnecessary conversations? Is it entertainment? Is it a toxic person? Is it your own thoughts? Name the enemy. Then remove its power. That's the key. Step 2. Remove access. Don't try to manage distractions. Delete them. Disconnect them. Destroy their access. Turn off notifications. Move the apps. Block the websites. Say no to low-value invitations. If it doesn't feed your purpose, it is poison. Replace convenience with discipline. The world is designed to distract you. So you must design your world to protect your focus. You don't need their permission. Set boundaries. Close doors. Disappear if you have to. Because here's a harsh truth. If they can access you anytime, they own your time. Step 3. Build a focus-first environment. Your environment shapes your behavior. That's the key. If you want to read more, put the book on your desk. If you want to train more, lay out your workout gear the night before. If you want to work deeply, clear your workspace of clutter. Make focus the default. Make distraction the inconvenience. Your environment should remind you of who you are becoming, not who you've been. You have a choice. Stay weak in a weak environment. Become unstoppable in a disciplined environment. Step 4. Embrace silence. Silence is uncomfortable for people who avoid their own thoughts. Don't be one of them. Silence is where discipline grows. Silence is where clarity is born. Silence is where the world stops controlling you, and you take control of yourself. Quiet the noise. Strengthen your mind. Step 5. Protect your energy. Not every conversation deserves your voice. Not every relationship deserves your access. Not every thought deserves your attention. Energy is limited. Spend it like it matters. Ask yourself daily, will this build me or break me? Most people say yes to everything. That's why they have nothing left for their dreams. Eliminate ruthlessly. Create intentionally. Remember this. You are not losing to competition. You are losing to distraction. Your potential is not hidden. It's interrupted. You won't rise by doing more. You'll rise by doing less, with full intensity. It's not about being busy. It's about being focused. That's the key. You want a different life? Take back your attention. Guard your focus with discipline. Remove every distraction that pulls you away from who you must become. You have a choice. Right now. Act like it. Because every distraction you cut builds a stronger, sharper, more dangerous version of you. And that version? That's the one who wins. You took control of your environment. Now, it's time to master the internal battlefield. The greatest distraction isn't outside. It's in your own mind. Your mind is a battlefield. Every day you fight. You fight doubt. You fight laziness. You fight fear. You fight the voice telling you to quit. Most people lose that battle long before they lose in the real world. Because they train their bodies, but leave their minds weak. Understand this. Before you win in life, you must win in your head. That's the key. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. You have a choice. People think success is about talent. They're wrong. It's about mental strength, mental endurance, mental discipline. Why do soldiers train so hard? Not for when things are easy, but for when everything falls apart, for when chaos arrives, for when the world tests every ounce of who they are. Your life demands the same training, because life will test you. Pain will visit you. Failure will punch you in the mouth. People will doubt you. Your body will scream to stop. And in those moments, your mind decides who you are. You must build a mind made of iron. A mind that does not fold. A mind that fights back. The first rule of mental warfare: control your thoughts. Your thoughts are not harmless. They become your reality. A negative thought repeated becomes a belief. A belief becomes an identity. An identity becomes your life. So what are you rehearsing? Strength or weakness? Stop entertaining thoughts that weaken you. Stop feeding the voice that says you can't. Stop arguing for your limitations. Your mind listens to what you tell it. Speak strength. Speak discipline. Speak victory. That is training. Every day. Every moment. You don't need their permission to think differently. You choose how your mind works. You have a choice. The second rule of mental warfare: push through resistance. Your brain hates discomfort. It is wired for safety, comfort, predictability. But greatness lives in discomfort. Everything you want sits just outside your comfort zone. So when your mind says, stop, you go one more rep, one more hour, one more attempt. That's how mental strength grows. Not by avoiding the hard things, but by attacking them. Pain is a teacher. Discomfort is a friend. Resistance is the gym for your mind. When you push past the urge to quit, you rewrite your identity. I am the one who doesn't give up. That's the key. The third rule of mental warfare: embrace adversity. Hard times don't destroy you. Weak reactions do. Adversity reveals you. It shows whether you are trained or fragile. Most people complain when things get difficult. Not you. Not anymore. You say, good. You can't break me. I needed this. This is where champions are made. You don't rise in comfort. You rise in crisis. You rise in pressure. You rise in fire. This is war. You must choose to fight. Remember, a smooth life creates a soft mind. A tough life builds a warrior. The fourth rule of mental warfare: discipline the inner voice. Your inner voice is the loudest voice in your world. You must train it, command it, dominate it. When it says, I'm tired, you say, we go anyway. When it says, I'm scared, you say, we attack anyway. When it says, it doesn't matter, you say, everything matters. Your inner voice must become your drill sergeant, not your excuse machine. That's the key. The fifth rule of mental warfare: focus on what you can control. Most minds waste energy on things that don't matter. Other people's opinions, other people's approval, situations outside their control. You don't need their permission to rise. You focus on what is yours: your actions, your effort, your decisions, your discipline. Energy flows where attention goes. Direct that energy toward progress, not drama. You have a choice. The sixth rule of mental warfare: ritualize your strength. Warriors have rituals. Champions have routines. Discipline is not random, it is structured. Build mental strength into your day. Silence in the morning. Hard work before comfort. Daily challenges that force growth. Reflection every night. Make mental training a lifestyle. This is how you transform. You don't become mentally tough once. You become mentally tough every day. That's the key. The final rule: choose a harder life. Weak minds search for the easy path. Strong minds select the difficult one. Every day, choose something hard. Take the stairs. Wake up earlier. Do the extra work. Say no to pleasure. Say yes to discipline. Hard choices lead to strong minds. Weak choices lead to weak lives. You have a choice. Right now. Who are you becoming? Are you building a warrior? Or making excuses? Your life will reflect your mental training. If you avoid discomfort, your life becomes one long battle you can't win. But if you train your mind for war, nothing can stop you. Not fear. Not pain. Not failure. Not doubt. You will stand where others fall. You will rise where others quit. You will fight when others surrender. Because you are not fragile. You are forged. That's the key. You have started shaping a mind of steel. But there's another weapon most people never use. A tool that multiplies your strength and makes you unstoppable. Silence. Silence is power. Silence is protection. Silence is control. Now, let's discover how silence becomes a weapon in your disciplined life.